Okay, so from this side you could see that whenever we start the system, it just navigates us. Okay, so what is the problem? Okay, so I changed the form 1 name to FRM login, so I have this problem whenever I load the system. So this form 1 should be changed to FRM loading, right? So that is the whole problem. So if you face that challenge, just double click the error and it will redirect you to here. Then you just change the login to this. So let's save this, then let's start again, and this is going to start. Okay, so you could see that it doesn't do anything. So let's add the right components, the right tools, so that it can start doing something. So from here we're just gonna add a timer. So just double click the timer to get a timer here. Let's set the timer to true, and let's double click on this timer to enter into the code section. So from here we're just gonna say the progress bar we added, which is progress bar 1 dot increment, should be increased within one range, right? And with that, when we start the system now, with this code, you see that the progress bar is now loading, right? But when it reaches to 100%, or when it reaches the end of it, or when it's done, or when it's completed, it's not going to do anything, right? So let's try to work along with that. So we will say that if the progress bar 1 dot value equals to 100, then we will say that the timer 1 should stop, and we will say that me dot hide, and okay, we can say that me dot close, and then we say that FRM login dot show, right? So this is what we've done so far. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so the reason why it just closed is because of I used me.close, right? So let's try this pose. Okay, so this pose is also not working, so we just have to use hide. And I believe hide is going to work. I decided to try not to pack all the forms at the back of the software, but I decided to yes. So this is what we have here. You could see that now we have the username. I can say admin, and the password admin, but you could see that we have this admin still showing, and here we have this radio button checkbox here. So we have to add this checkbox, and so that it can be visible and invisible, right? So let's do that right now. Okay, so let's go to the login, click on this, just give it a space. Let's add a checkbox and click on this checkbox, and let's clear the text given to that. Yes, so I have this. Now we have something called a password car. The password car, it stands for the character you want to represent as your password. So when you click on this password text box, you come down here. We have use system password char is false, right? It's false. So we have the password chart. So you can decide to use a star symbol, you can decide to use anything, but I would like to use a 0 symbol. So let me quickly start it for you to see how it works. Now we could see that this loading screen is working perfectly fine. So in our next debug or test, we will get rid of this, so that anytime we won't be passing through this same procedure to get done. So you could see my password chart, it is working. Okay, now I don't want to jump into the loading anytime I start a project, right? So to get that being done, just go to project, select your project name. Now we have the start from. So the startup, let's choose the login for now. We will change it later on. So now when I click on start, it's just going to start within the login so that I can easily work within the login. Now this guy is not working, so let's code that out. But before we code that out, let's try to give these guys some names, some custom or some unique names which we can use to call them. So this username is going to be, this text box one is going to be, let's make a txt username, and let's call this txt password, and let's call this link label. So LBL forgot password, and this 5 here is going to be LBL attempts, right? And this checkbox is going to be chk hide / show. Okay, so the slash is not permissible, so chk hide show. Good. And this is the password. This is going to be btn login, and this is going to be btn cancel. Good. So we have this guy right here and we are good to go. So let's double click on this checkbox, and we're going to say that if chk checkbox, if chk hide or show dot enable dot checked equals to true, then you're just going to say that our txt password dot password car equals to, then we say nothing else, txt password dot password car equals to something, and that is our 0. So these code are going to work perfectly fine. So let's try this out and let's see how it works. So when I type something here, click on this, it's going to show. On check, it's going to hide. You see? So that is working perfectly fine. So we have this, and I believe everything is going to be quite interesting and quite awesome and very, very, very interactive. Okay, now to get started with the main thing we want to do, I would like for us to go through some process. Right now, let's try to restrict them right here. If the person didn't type anything here and here, we just have to restrict the person. Let's tell the person that, hey, you have to log in, you have to take this, you have to take that. All right, so let's double click on this login, and we're just going to use if statement. If our txt username dot text equals to nothing, and our txt password dot text equals to nothing, then we're going to specify a message box. So we're going to use msg box to tell the person that maybe all fields are required, and all fields are required. We're going to use a message box style dot let's use I would like to use okay, so I would like to use exclamation, and I'll say attention, right, as the header of my message which will pop up, right? So this is how it's going to be. So when I don't type anything in here and then I click, you see, so all fields are required. So now let's do one more thing. After this message pops up, when the person clicks on OK, I'm just gonna say that let's say txt username dot focus. So it's gonna draw the attention to the txt username, right? So this is how it's going to be. Okay, so when I didn't type anything, then I have the txt login being focused. All right, so I believe you've gotten how this works now, and let's then focus on if the person didn't type anything. If the person typed something in in the other field, what are we going to do now? Okay, so we will say that else if txt username dot text equals to nothing. Now we're going to specify on only the username, right? So just gonna copy this because it's gonna be the same thing. Then we paste it right here. Then instead of all fields, we're just gonna say username field is required, right? And that is going to be attention again, and it's going to focus on the username. So we just have to copy this, then we come back here, else, then we paste it. Now this is going to be the txt password, and instead of username, just going to say password field is required, and we're just going to say txt password dot focus. All right, so we have to add one end if right here. When you click on this, you see insert missing end if, so we just have to say end if, and that is also done. So we have this. When I didn't type anything, all fields are required. When I type something here, you see password field is required. When I type something here, username field is required. When I type something here, it won't do anything because all of them have some data. Okay, let's go to console and let's see what we have to do right here. So based on the console, we're just going to use MSG box style. Let's say message box, and this time we're just going to say are you sure you want to quit? And we're just gonna use a message box style dot yes or no, and we're just gonna add a header attention, and that is going to be attention, right? Okay, so what this does is whenever I click on this cancel, it's just gonna pop up this thing, are you sure you want to quit? When I click on no, it's not gonna do anything. When I click on yes, it's not gonna do anything for now. So what I'm gonna say is if msg box results dot yes, you see, if the person clicks on yes, then we're just gonna say application dot exit, right? So else, you see, that is it. So just have to keep it this way. So when we click on no, it's not going to do. Oh wow, really? It shouldn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that. We have to we have to take a good look at that, and everything is going to be quite interesting. I think we have to fix this. Okay, so we have to use dialogues, right? Okay, don't worry, we will get to that. I just want us to get to know how everything is working. Now let's see something from here. We will come to that section now. Oh come on, you've got to be kidding me. A minute, guys. Okay, so I'm very sorry, I had to receive that call. So I don't want to, okay, I don't want to skip anything, so let's solve this issue once and for all. So let's declare results as strange, and results will be let's say results will be are you sure you want to quit. You see, that will be the results. Now we will add a message dialog, right? So what we will say is if message box dot show, and what is going to show is the results, right? And after this results, we just have to say the heading is going to be attention, right? Okay, so after the heading, we can use a message box button. So this button is going to be yes or no, right? So after this button, let's try to use message box icon, and that will be question, right? Because it's asking you a question. Then we use message box default button. So the default button, I would like to say, is going to be the button 2, right? Okay, so after that, we're going to say that okay, dialog results dot yes. If the person clicks on dialog results yes, then we will tell the person that let's say application dot exit, else do nothing, right? Okay, so let's see how it works now, and I believe we can indeed, in fact, okay, so now I click on cancel. Attention, are you sure you want to quit the software? You just say no, it's not going to do anything, but when you click on yes, it's just going to end it. So this is what we've done so far. Yeah, I wanted to go through gradually, and yeah, so that we can just complete everything. So where we left off, when the person didn't type the correct username and correct password, what should it be? So from here, I would like to declare some basic statements here so that we can do that. So on our next lesson, we're going to see how we could create our database and how we could, figure it out, and everything is going to be awesome. So from this section, what we're going to say is, let's declare username as string, and this string is equals to admin. Then let's declare password as string, which is equals to admin. Then let's come down here. So from this section, okay, let's come down here. After this password chart, we say else. If the person didn't type anything, if the person didn't type the correct username and password, which is the admin we've declared up here, then it should pop up an error message telling the person that wrong details provided, maybe wrong credentials provided. Say please try again, right? Okay, so within that, wrong credentials, please try again. So this is how it works. So you see, you type and you click on login. You see wrong credentials, please try again. So now let's try to deduct this 5 by 1 anytime the person gets it wrong. So now after we have this error right here, we're just going to say that lbl attempts dot text, which is equals to okay, let's say val, which is lbl attempts dot text equals to, so we can say just this, we can say -1, right? So we can say -1, and it's going to work. Oh, okay. So we will say that lbl attempts dot text equals to, so we should make it specifically, so the text is equals to this -1. So what it's going to be is, you see that when we get it wrong, then you see that it's now 4, it's now 3, it's now 2, it's now 3, 1, it's now 0, right? And now it goes like -1. So let's restrict that. So we will say that if lbl attempts.text equals to, then we have to specify a number. So if it is equals to 2, then we will pop up a message, right? Then we will pop up a message dialog telling the person that maybe, attention, you have only 2 attempts left, right? So the message box style is going to be information, then we say attention, right? Then we say else if our LBL attempts.text equals to 0. That means when it exceeds to 0, then we pop up a message box telling the person that all attempts exceeded, please contact your administrator for assistance. Then we say application will now exit. So okay, so this application will now exit. I would like to take it out for now. So we just have to copy this same thing. Okay, so let's add a message box style to this. So say msg box style dot information, then we say attention, right? So we just have to copy this and we paste it once again. Then we just say application will now exit, right? Okay, so after that we just have to close the application. So we just say application.exit, right? So that is what we have here. So let's see what we've done so far. Now when we type the wrong thing, just log in 4 3 2. Now it says attention, you have only 2 attempts left. Okay, so 1. Now we have the wrong. Now it says all attempts exceeded, please contact your administrator for assistance. Application will now exit. Then the application exits itself. All right, so else, what if the person types the correct thing? So if txt username.text equals to username, which we declared at the top there, and txt password.text equals to password, then we just have to pop up a message, right? And this message is going to be maybe access granted, and this access granted say logged in. Okay, so after this I will have to clear the txt password.clear, txt username.clear. I just have to clear it, otherwise when I log out you will still see my credentials there. Okay, so from here, when okay, so we just have to log in to our system. So from here we could say that let's create the home page. So frm homepage. So this is our homepage. We will come and work there later. So from here we say frm homepage.show me.hide, just like that. So let's see what we have here. So we type admin, then we click on login. So you see wrong credentials, really. Okay, access granted, Now we have this. So what we have to say is this if statement should be at the top of everything, so it should be here. Then we add the else instead. So you come down here and we remove this else from here, right? So that is going to work. So it's going to check the first thing, which is this. Otherwise it proceeds the whole thing. So admin, right? So we, okay, I think I added space bar here. Okay, so access granted, then I'm logged in. Okay, so this is what we've done so far. On our next lesson, we're going to see how we could create our database from Microsoft Access Engine, and we will see how we can connect to the system and we get rid of this username and password so that we will be calling them from the database. All right, so we'll end here.